What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my Week 14 NFL picks. Last week was a Patreon exclusive only week for this video, if you're wondering where that was. But we did have a pretty good week last week. We go 10-6 overall, 1-0 picking underdogs. Did go 5-8 against the spread, but we were able to make some money last week for the first time in a couple weeks, so that felt really good. So before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, guys. Helps me out. And then a reminder, if you do want to get in on the gambling action, there is a referral link to Bovada in the description where you will get a match on your first deposit. So let's get into it here. Week 14, starting with the Thursday night game, Jacksonville at the Tennessee Titans. A bit of a meh Thursday night game, but it might be entertaining. Mariota actually plays pretty well on primetime football. And Jacksonville's, they're playing for pride right now. They're playing like a proud defense at least. They've got the new quarterback in there. They're past the Bortles era finally. But Tennessee is out here playing for their playoff lives, a division battle. So it should be a pretty good game. I do think it'll be pretty close. They're giving Tennessee 5 points. In the end, I think Tennessee just better quarterback, home field advantage. I think they should take care of business here. I'm going to take Tennessee 20-13 and to cover the spread. Next, we got Atlanta at Green Bay. Green Bay in their coach firing week. We've seen teams in the past really kind of get reignited in the first week or two with that interim coach. That has definitely been a trend over the last couple of years, but they did look absolutely flat last week. Atlanta is a team that has kind of managed to play on and off, but they have managed to look good despite knowing that they probably don't have a chance. Both teams just ravaged by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I really like the over in this game, but I honestly have no idea who's going to win this game. They're giving Green Bay 5 points. I think that might be too much, but I'll take Green Bay, just, kind of believing that they're going to have a spark this week, improving their play calling a little bit without McCarthy. That's the biggest upgrade this offense has made all season, in my opinion. So I'll take Green Bay 33-30. But I don't feel great about it. I would not advise betting the spread in this game. I would not be stunned at all if Atlanta won this one. New England at Miami. I'm going to do kind of a similar prediction to when this team went into New York a couple weeks ago. Actually picked the score of that game spot on, was off by a point, I believe. I think Miami's going to hang around, do some things, maybe get a punt return or force a fumble or do some things that they've been able to do this year, keeping games close. But the longer this game goes on, I think New England's going to pull away. New England has struggled at times in Miami throughout this era, I suppose. But I do think they win the game. They are getting 8 points. That is a lot. I'm going to say stay away from the spread in this one. And then next game here, we got the Giants heading into the depleted Washington Redskins. The Giants are getting 3.5 points here. I don't think that's enough, to be honest. I mean, we're talking about Mark Sanchez with just a ravaged offensive line in terms of injuries. And just, I don't trust Washington at all right now. They've lost so much momentum. And New York, they're coming off a win against Chicago. They've played a little better in the last month or so. So I think New York should win this one pretty easily. I don't mind the spread either, 3.5 points. And then next we've got Indy at Houston. This is going to be, I think, a better game to watch than it will be to bet on. I kind of am pulling for Indy just because I love Andrew Luck, but Houston's been fun this year too. So I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I wouldn't bet on this game. I am going to take Houston. They are red hot, and Indy kind of, fell off their rocker last week. We'll see if they can recapture the special things they were doing before last week where they got shut out. I don't think they're going to get shut out this time, and Houston really has struggled with, the Andrew Lucks and the elite quarterbacks throughout the last 5 or 10 years. So this is going to be a playoff environment. Indy actually has more to play for in this game than Houston. So I think it's going to be a really good, close game. I will take Houston, but I would not bet the spread on this game. I think it's going to be really either way. Baltimore at Kansas City. Now I'm fading Kansas City, but the more you think about it is hard to bet against them right now. I'm not necessarily going to bet on them in this game. I think they beat Baltimore. I just have a hard time seeing Lamar Jackson keeping pace with this offense. If this was in Baltimore, I actually think I would take the Ravens. I just think they do actually match up pretty well with the Chiefs because you can score on the Chiefs, as we saw last week, and Baltimore has a defense that can keep this offense down a little bit. I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up in Kansas City. So I will take the Chiefs 30-23, but again, no spread pick. So off the gate here, a lot of stayaways in terms of the spread, but don't worry, we got some spread picks coming for you, which let's get into that. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I'm going to take the Saints to win this game. Not really a surprise, but Tampa Bay, I'll give them credit. They have played really good offensively, and they are playing for Jameis. Jameis is playing for his career here in Tampa Bay. I think they're going to be really competitive against the Saints. I think this is going to be a fun, high-scoring, entertaining game that the Saints find a way to win in the end, but they are getting 9 points. I like Tampa Bay a decent amount getting those points to keep this within a score with how their offense can work, even if it's just a backdoor cover. And then Carolina at Cleveland. I'm actually going to be at this game in Cleveland, so in honor of that, I will take the Browns, but it's not just because I'll be there. I do actually think Cleveland will win this game. Cam Newton is playing with a really beat-up shoulder. It looks like he's going to need surgery in the offseason, and Carolina has just fallen off a cliff. Cleveland, meanwhile, especially at home, they can gear up, play some defense. Baker Mayfield is on and off, but he can score some points. So I think Cleveland's going to be able to do enough in this one, so I'll take the Browns in an upset. Jets at the Bills. It's a disgusting game, but I actually feel pretty confident taking the Bills. They have a lot of life right now playing with Josh Allen. That defense we know at home can be honestly elite. And I just don't know how the Jets are really going to manage to win this game. And honestly, I don't know if Darnold's playing. I feel like he is healthy. They're just keeping him out because they don't want him to just lose all his confidence and become this big turnover machine, which is very smart. But if it's McCown here, I just don't think it's going to end well for the Jets. So surprisingly, I actually feel pretty good about the Bills winning this game and covering the 3.5 points. Next, we've got Denver at San Francisco. And this one is going to be like my Dallas pick last week. I'm going to actually go on a gut feeling here. Trap game. San Francisco pulls the close upset here, 23-22. Denver suffered injuries to probably their two best players outside of Von Miller this year. In Sanders and Chris Harris will not be in there, so I just think they're going to have a hard time rallying around that. They should, still come to play because they're alive in this playoff race. But San Francisco's played spoiler a couple times this year. That offensive line can kind of neutralize the pass rush a little bit. They'll be able to run the ball, I think. So I'm going to take San Francisco in a bit of a surprising upset this week against the Broncos. And then Cincinnati at the LA Chargers. I'm excited to watch this one because I don't see a whole lot of Bengals fans showing up for that Chargers game. We've made fun of the Chargers home field because it usually turns into a home field for the other team, but I think for once we might actually get some Chargers fans at this game, like a majority Chargers fans. Coming off a big Monday night win against the Steelers, people are starting to recognize this team as legit, and they're kind of turning a corner here. I really wish this team would get their ish together and find a home field and establish themselves as a real NFL team. Like right now, they're just this weird journey team, but they're incredibly talented. And I think they're going to just blow away the Bengals this week and turn another corner this week. So I like the Chargers to win. Still medium confidence on that spread just because it's 14 points and it is the Chargers. They could give away 13 points off of missed field goals. So you never know if they're going to be able to cover that. But I do feel pretty good about them winning by a good amount of points this week. Philly at Dallas. Now, 2 weeks ago, I said betting on Philly at plus 300 to win the NFC East was the best bet you can make because they were going to go on a run and then head into Dallas and an opportunity to take first place in the division. Now, I don't know who would have the tiebreakers in this situation as Dallas beat Philly earlier, so you'd have to go down the road. They'd have the same record if Philly won this game. But anyway, this is going to be a playoff environment in Dallas, who's playing great defense at home, and I'm definitely more hesitant to pick Philly in this game than I was 2 weeks ago, looking forward. But I am still going to take Philly. I just think they're heating up. I'm not confident necessarily as I would have been a few weeks ago, like I said. But I'll stick with the prediction that Philly, with the better quarterback in this game, they're getting Golden Tate involved, which is going to be how they beat Dallas to neutralize that pass rush, to get the ball out quickly, get it in Golden Tate's hands, let him go to work. So I am going to take Philly in a close one, 27-26. And then Pittsburgh at Oakland really should not be any messing around this week from the Steelers' end. They've lost 3 games in a row now that have, frankly, they should have won all 3. The Chargers game could have gone either way, but they had a huge lead and let the Chargers come back. And then, the Keenan Allen touchdown to get that off of the tip. Like, the Steelers are still playing good football. They just haven't been able to buy a win. And I think this is the week where they just say, you know what, we're better than this team. We're a playoff team. Let's go out and prove it. I like them to cover. This is a bet I've made this week, but I did buy a half point just because, Oakland can score a little bit. 10 points is a lot. But I like the Steelers. Throw this in your parlays. I don't see them losing 4 in a row against Oakland. And then Detroit at Arizona. Again, a bit of a gut feeling here. Detroit they're so flat. I don't see them going on the road and beating Arizona, who's got a little bit of momentum right now. They're playing for Josh Rosen. They want to do the best they can for him. The defense is playing better. So I'll take Arizona. I don't feel great about it, but I guess it's an upset, 20-19. Next, we got the Rams at the Bears. This is one of my favorite bets in a few weeks. I just feel like 3 points here is kind of a gimme, in my opinion. Like, the Rams are just such a better football team. The thing is, they have the tackles to neutralize Khalil Mack a little bit, and I feel like they're going to be able to do enough offensively with Gurley. And then the Bears, I just don't trust this offense against the Rams. Like, I know the Rams have struggled defensively this year, but they're coming on. Like, I think that Aaron Donald is going to force at least 1 turnover on whether it's Trubisky or Daniel. I would assume that it's Trubisky at this point. And then with Talib back in there, Marcus Peters, like, they have the corners to manage these receivers. So I just think it's a great matchup for the Rams, and they're just a much better football team. So I'll take the Rams 27-21. This is definitely a bet I'm making this week. And then Minnesota at Seattle. Minnesota's really beat up. Seattle's got a ton of momentum. They're playing with the 12th man. I think Seattle takes care of business in this one, 27-21. So those are the picks this week, and then we are now going to add a little segment here, the bets that I've made this week, to kind of clarify my favorite bets for the week, to hopefully actually make you guys some money, not just rattle off all my picks. It's one thing to go 5-8 against the spread. It's another thing to actually show you the games I'm most confident in. So here we go. I'm going to take the Rams -3 at Chicago. I'm going to take Cleveland on the money line against Carolina. Pittsburgh -10. I bought a half point against Oakland. And then I've got a parlay here, taking the over in that Green Bay Atlanta game. I don't think we see a lot of defense this week there. And then throwing on top of that Pittsburgh and the Chargers, who are my most confident wins this week with those big spreads. So that's +140. And then I've got a 17 parlay just for fun here. The Titans tonight, the Giants, the Browns, the Bills, the Chargers, the Steelers, and the Rams. So hit that like button, guys, if you enjoy. Let's make some money this week. A reminder to check out that Bovada link if you do want to get in on the gambling action, where you will get a match on your first deposit if you follow the link. So good luck. Have a good weekend. Cheers as always. We'll see you next time.